Hi everyone, and welcome once again to Southside Dodge Rebels this week. It's with very heavy hearts that we bring you this week's episode, as it was a very tough emotional week for the entire Red Deer Rebels organization. It was not so long ago that Cale Williams, the son of Rebels Vice President of Marketing and Sales Dean Williams, passed away suddenly. On behalf of Calvin here on Southside Dodge Rebels this week, I just want to pass along our sincerest wishes to Dean and Nicole and the entire Williams family. Cale was a close friend with many of the Rebels players, so much so that a special stall in his honor has been set up in the Rebels dressing room. So you can imagine how challenging it was for them to focus on a pair of important home games this week. The first of those home games came Wednesday night versus the Prince George Cougars. This was the second meeting in as many Wednesdays between the Rebels and Cougars. Red Deer pulled out a 5-4 shootout win in PG a week earlier. Red Deer native Mac Engel was in net once again for the Cougars, and he was tested early, but turned aside shots from both Brooks Maxwell and Turner Elson. Engel then stays with the play and makes a fine pad save on Dominic Volek. Matt Bellerive with a solid back check on Carson Bolduc. A mistake by Engel nearly leads to the first goal of the game, but he recovers in time to foil Turner Elson. Cougars come even closer to opening the scoring when Yari Eriksson beats Bartosak, but hits the post. Elson couldn't buy a goal in the first period as he is robbed yet again by Engel. Rebels do finally strike first when Hayden Fleury jumps up and leads the rush. Check out his sweet pass over to Reese Dino. Boy, there's a good guy to look for when you're near the net, as Dino nets his 22nd of the year. 1-0 Rebels. Dino's point streak reaches 7 games. 3 minutes later, with the Rebels on a power play, Matthew Dumba looks and finds Dino all alone crease side. The young man's on fire. How you leave him alone like that, that's beyond me. That's his second of the period, 23rd of the year. 2-0 Rebs. Dumba then looks to score one of his own, walks around the defender and tries to go short side on Engel, but to no avail. Cougars looking for their first goal. Jordan Tkach comes out from the corner, but Bartosak drops down to keep that shot out. Yet another glorious scoring chance for Elson here, but yet again the captain turned aside. Later in the second period, Matt Bellerive makes a slick little drop pass to Joel Hamilton. He snaps home his 9th of the season on a power play. 3-0 Rebels at that point. At the other end, Bartosak does a good job of taking away the lower half of the net, then makes a nice stop on Troy Burke. Burke gets another long look at a goal, makes a nice move, but shoots right into the Rebels logo on Bartosak's sweater. Cougars captain Daniel Gibbs scored in PG's last visit to Red Deer, but this time Bartosak turns aside the point blast. But PG kept coming with the pressure in the middle frame, forcing Bartosak to make a spectacular glove save on Tkach, an absolute gem by Patty. More artistry from Bartosak in the third period. I've run out of ways to describe it, so let's just watch it. His teammates reward his stellar work by making it 4-0. Brooks Maxwell finds the rebound and finds the back of the net for his 7th. Lucky bounce works in Maxie's favor. Here are even more saves by Bartosak. Just another stellar night at the office for the Czech netminder. Reese Dino gets a shot at the hat trick, but Mac Engel sprawls and somehow gets a leg on that one. Not much chance for Bartosak as the Cougars do finally hit the score sheet. Great passing play capped off by Zach Pachiro. That's his 4th goal this year against the Rebels. 4-1 was the score. Rebels get a chance for one more goal in this one, but Bellerive can't beat Engel before being thrown to the ice. That would be about it, as the Rebels win 4-1.
I thought overall as a team, we had moments where we played really well and moments where we got off track a little bit as far as just decision making with puck management and stuff. But it's been a tough week, and credit to the kids. They played hard, and that's what you can ask. That's all we can ask from them, and they did a good job with that. And they competed and they created some scoring chances, and we scored a couple big goals on power plays. Power play goals, something that we need to do. Again, overall, considering the circumstances this week, I'm very pleased.
We had a lot on the line tonight. As you heard in before the anthem there, the loss of Cale was pretty big, and it was awesome to see all the boys rally together and come on and get a win for him. We know he's looking down on us, and we know he's happy tonight. So I was just really proud of everyone in the room.
Game data brought to you by 247reddeer.ca. 2 more goals from Dino and a solid 3-assist night for Matthew Dumba. A little more action on in the background now as the Red Deer Optimist Rebel Chiefs of the Alberta Midget Hockey League taking on the Leduc Oil Kings in their final regular season game. This past Friday night, the Rebels played their second home game of the week versus the Victoria Royals. Patrick Bartasak leads his troops into battle mere hours after the entire team attended the funeral for Cale Williams. Dina, Nicole, and family were in attendance, making this game even more special for everyone. And it had the promise to be a good one after the Rebels beat the Royals 3-2 in a shootout back in December. Bartasak set the tone early for this one with a quick glove save. Then he gets a leg on a shot from Brandon McGee after the Rebels lost the faceoff. Jordan Francouz shoots from the point. Bartasak tracks that one down, then pounces on the rebound. Rebels get the best scoring chance of the first period, but Patrick Polivka makes an outstanding save on Brooks Maxwell's shorthanded deke. Dominic Volek with some nice work to set up Tyson Ness. Polivka somehow gets a leg on that one before the Royals clear the rebound. McGee likely had nightmares about Bartasak after this game. He had all sorts of chances to score, but was denied each time, including these two in the second period. Royals with tons of pressure in the Rebels' end. Brett Cote's point shot is stopped. Ben Walker can't beat Bartasak on the rebound. Francouz's shot is blocked. The Rebels hanging on for dear life. Ben Walker comes towards the net and is poke checked by Bartasak. Rebound sits in the crease, but Patrick somehow bars the door and covers up.
Patrick Bartasak is out of his mind playing goal tonight. Down the left side.
Close call here as Elson shoots from long range. It gets through Polivka, but the referee loses sight of the puck, blows the play down. Here we go again. Rebels lose the faceoff, but Bartasak is there to bail his team out. This save is on Austin Carroll, and it's absolutely larcenous. Game is in the third period when it's the Royals who finally strike first. Puck bounces off Tim Traber toward the goal line. Bartasak dives to keep it out, but can't. Traber gets credit for his fourth of the year, 1-0 Royals. Victoria presses hard for an insurance goal, but Bartasak would have none of that. Hayden Fleury charges in and feeds Elson near the net, but Polivka robs the captain. Elson wins the ensuing faceoff and feeds Reese Dino, but yet another glorious save by Polivka. Less than 3 minutes to go. Rebels on the power play. Dumba's first shot is stopped. Gets his own rebound. Then he appears to tie the game up. The red light goes on. The players celebrate. The crowd goes wild, but there's no signal from the referee. This one would go to video review. It wasn't by much, but the puck did cross the goal line. Dumba's 13th of the year ties it at 1. Dino gets one final chance to win it for the Rebels, but cannot. This game needed a shootout. Logan Nelson first up for the Royals, tries the forehand deke, but to no avail. Reese Dino has been money in shootouts this season, and it's no different here. He beats Polivka with the backhand, putting the Rebels up. Brandon McGee liked that move so much, he tries it on Bartasak. That didn't work. Dominic Volek gets a chance to win it. Polivka stretches to get a pad on it, hurts himself in the process. Stephen Hodges then had to score to keep the Royals alive. He cannot. Bartasak makes yet another shootout save. The Rebels win it 2-1. Patty gets mobbed by his teammates in the corner, and it's pure bedlam in the NMAX Centrium. Smiles everywhere. Followed by a great tribute by the Rebels players to the Williams family. Watching from the Rebels suite, what a moment.
Obviously, it's been an emotional few days for a lot of people in this community, and for our hockey team, for our staff. So, we came here today. It's been certainly a tough day in a lot of different ways, but full marks to the kids. They stayed with it, and we showed a lot of resiliency tonight. And our character, the kids just kept working. We found a way to even it up late in the game, and to win it in a shootout is just puts an exclamation mark on it. But again, I'm proud of these kids. They, I really don't have words for it. It's been a tough time.
It was a great game for me. D-man helped me a lot in the defensive zone. I could see almost every shot, and if I didn't see it, it hit me. So it was good game, lucky bounces today, and I think boys worked very hard in the defensive zone for me and helped me a lot. I said it before, I hate overtimes. Every shot that goes on me on overtime is very dangerous because I'm shaky and stuff. But when it comes to shootout, I'm very confident, I'm pretty sure we have a very big chance to win.
The Battle of the Patricks turned out to be even better than advertised. Both Polivka and Bartosak were marvelous in this one, making for an absolute thriller. Matthew Dumba is on pace for his best month of the season scoring-wise, already with 9 points in February. Rebels gain a crucial 4 points this week to stay right in the chase for fourth in the conference. It's a busy week game-wise for the Rebels, with home affairs Tuesday versus Regina and Saturday night versus Prince Albert. Then Friday they head to Lethbridge. Sunday they're on the road at Medicine Hat. As usual, all games can be heard on 106.7 The Drive. Coming up after the break, we go one-on-one with Cody Teal, chat with the newest Rebel Jordan DePape, Darcy Kemper makes his big league debut, and we visit with Mike Moeller.
Miette a 2-on-1 with Johnson. Miette stops. Over to Johnson.
Hey Red Deer Rebels fans, have we got the show for you? Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is your #1 source for everything Rebels.
Nice left-hand save.
Highlights, interviews, stats, and exclusive behind-the-scenes features brought to you each and every week by those who have their eye on the Rebels all season long.
He's back to the middle.
Southside Dodge Rebels This Week, weeknights on Shaw TV. Welcome back to the show. Here on Southside Dodge Rebels This Week, we talk a lot about the star players on the Rebels roster, and for good reason. It is thanks in large part to players like Patrick Bartosak and Matthew Dumba and Turner Elson that the Rebels are where they're at in the standings, but it's also thanks in large part to some contributions by the lesser-known players on this roster, hard-working players like Cody Teal. Cody did his darndest to make the Rebels roster coming out of training camp. He even switched positions from defense to forward to help better his chances, something he was more than glad to do.
Oh yeah, I was really excited to get back up front and bang bodies and do whatever I can to help the team. I played center, right wing, and then the odd game defense in minor hockey, but it was mostly forward.
He rarely finds his way onto the score sheet. He has just 2 goals and 2 points all season, but that's not what Cody is counted on for when he's on the ice. He's here to bring the thunder.
My dad always told me to make room with your big body, and growing up I was always bigger than everyone else, and so it's what I know. I am very happy getting more confidence. This road trip was really good for me. The fourth line, we finally are gelling together, and with everyone going in and out on it, we're finally gelling together and just getting some chemistry.
Even though he's been a constant on the Rebels' fourth line, Teal still finds himself filling in on the blue line when needed, and he's good with that. He's also good with being part of a team that's in a heated battle for a playoff spot.
Oh yeah, I haven't been on a team that's been in the playoffs for probably 3 or 4 years, so it's good to get back and be a part of this team, no other team.
After being signed as a free agent by the Rebels back on the WHL trade deadline January 10th, Jordan DePape is finally in Red Deer. The 20-year-old forward arrived in town last week and took part in his first ice sessions with the Rebels. DePape is right on track with his recovery from shoulder surgery last fall, and he is slated to suit up for the Rebels before the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Since I got picked up by the trade deadline, I've been pretty anxious to get out here, and it's nice to finally meet the boys.
DePape's signing by the Rebels almost didn't happen. The former Kamloops Blazer had multiple chats with the Edmonton Oil Kings before speaking with the Rebels in the final hours before the deadline. It's been a long road for DePape as he continues to rehab from his second major injury in as many seasons.
Last year, on my left shoulder, I went through shoulder surgery from a full dislocation, and then this year, with my luck, I sublexed my right shoulder. So it's not a full dislocation, but there is a tear in my labrum, and so I heard it, I rehabbed it, came back in about a week and a half, and started playing hockey again without a problem. And then just from a little hit again, I just heard it again, and the doctors told me that this was going to be pretty repeated during the season if I don't get it fixed. So I thought it was the best decision for me to get it fixed. And the initial thought was I wouldn't be able to play junior hockey again, but I was fortunate enough to get into surgery so quickly with Peter McDonald back in Winnipeg, and here I am now.
Yet another former Rebels goaltender made his NHL debut last week. Darcy Kemper got the call from the Minnesota Wild and found himself between the pipes in Vancouver versus the Canucks. Kemps looked pretty darn good in his debut. He made 28 saves in a hard-fought 2-1 loss. Darcy, as you will recall, was the Rebels team MVP in the 2010-2011 season. That's when he had 45 wins, a 1.86 goals against average, and a record-tying 13 shutouts. Well, I know this guy very happy to see Darcy Kemper make his NHL debut as well. Mike Muller, color commentator on Rebels broadcast on 106.7 The Drive. And we've seen a ton of great goaltending this year from Patrick Bartosak. Very similar to when Darcy Kemper wore number 35 here.
You know what? It's something about a hot goaltender and the Red Deer Rebels kind of go hand in hand, don't they? I mean, going back to Cam Ward, and it's really neat to see Bartosak with that injury last year, which took him out for the rest of the season, kind of from Christmas on. His comeback so strong, and not only been good for the Red Deer Rebels, he's been one of the best goaltenders in the whole league. And as he goes, so do the Rebels. And we saw this past week with a couple outstanding performances and 2 Rebel wins.
Even made more remarkable, like you say, by the fact that he came back from that serious season-ending injury last year.
You know what? I think one of those things where he got hurt, he got the operation done, he had a long time to rehab and get it strong again. And for a lot of guys, you always come back, you're never really 100%. But he had a chance to get 100% through the Christmas or through the break at the end of the season, through the summertime. He came into camp feeling good. He didn't have to go to a pro camp. He didn't have to do any of that. And then I really believe for him, a chance to play in the World Junior Championships for his home country, and he played so well for the Czech Republic. I just think that boosted his confidence. And now you see it in the way he plays. He really believes that he's a good goalie and that he's not going to let in that bad goal. And matter of fact, they're going to have to make a real good play to beat him. And because of that, he's done well.
Mike, it certainly seems like this Rebels team is finally playing with a lot of confidence and on a consistent basis night after night. Seems like perhaps things are coming around at the right time finally?
Well, you want to be playing your best hockey at the end of the season. And, we've seen it in bits and spurts this year. I mean, there was a big personnel change from the start of the season to where we are now. We had a coaching change. Pieces of the puzzle. Matt Dumba left to go to the Minnesota Wild training camp when the NHL lockout ended. It's not until really the last couple of weeks that everything has kind of gotten here. The injuries and the guys that have been out of the lineup are all back. And you know what? It's been a pretty good push. The league is better. The division and the conference is so strong. You have to play your best hockey on a nightly basis to have a chance to get points. And the Rebels have found a way to do that, whether it's Bartosak in goal or Reese Dino scoring some big goals, or Turner Ellison and the penalty kill unit. Red Deer Rebels have played their best hockey as of late, and you really need to continue that to have a chance to secure that home playoff bid in the first round, and then obviously go on from there in the playoffs.
You mentioned Reese Dino's name. You'd be hard-pressed to look anywhere in the Western Hockey League this year to find a free agent acquisition as good as that one.
You know what? And he had some experience in the league with the Messnet Tigers last year. I don't think he maybe got the opportunity there or maybe earned the opportunity. But after going back to Tier 2 hockey, he got a chance to come up this year. He had a pretty good drive and desire that he wanted to not only be here, but be well and do well. And we see that every night. He's a threat. That line with Brooks Maxwell and Turner Ellison has been Red Deer's real go-to guys. On most nights, they are hard to handle by the opposition. But Dino, with that skill, and we saw it in the overtime shootout here, last game, that he given the opportunity from the net, he has a way of getting the puck in the net. Not everybody, even if they get the chances, can score, and he's certainly done that on a real consistent basis since Christmas time, and thank goodness the Red Deer Rebels use that scoring.
We've seen some great play from the Rebels' top 6 forwards, the Dinos, the Elsons, the Joel Hamiltons, and the like. But the other forwards as well, the third and fourth line, they don't get a lot of points, you don't get a lot of recognition, but they're doing what they need to be doing every night.
You know what? When you're a coach or when you're watching as a fan, it's important that your other lines contribute what we call solid minutes. That means they're not giving up goals. You're not losing momentum by playing your own zone. You're not taking bad penalties. You're going out there and doing a lot of things well to create some good minutes to keep momentum going to when the first line or the second line can get out there and do the bulk of your scoring. Let's face it, Red Deer's scoring is kind of built around a couple different lines, but secondary scoring is real important. And you know what? Keeping that goals against down. Red Deer's penalty killing, third in the Western Hockey League. One of the good reasons why they've done well this year. The power play has picked it up as of late, and because of that, the whole team has benefited from it. But yeah, you're right. That secondary score and the secondary play from some of those what we call 7 to 10 forwards are really important too.
Rebels pick up a vital 4 points in the standings last week, Mike, because as you look across the Eastern Conference, Saskatoon's on fire. They may very well run away with the second seed, but there's Prince Albert, Medicine Hat, Swift Current, a whole bunch of teams that are also getting points too, going for that number 4 seed.
You know what? And it's exciting. I mean, you and I, we're watching the scoreboard every night, whether Rebels are playing or not, to see who beat who or who's doing what. Rebels, are hopefully getting some help, but the best thing you can do is win your games. You do a good job yourself. you'll find out at the end of the season whether you've earned that 4th hole to get that home playoff advantage in the first round, or whether someone else has maybe even played better and gotten ahead of you. But it's going to be interesting. Red Deer's got some division teams in Lethbridge and Calgary down the line. They got some conference games with Prince Albert and Regina coming down the line. So you know what? You're going to have an opportunity to, let's say, you make it happen for yourself. You're not going to have to rely on anybody, but it is nice some nights when you get some help from some other teams against some teams you're battling with.
Now, Mike, a team that's done a fabulous job of taking care of business again this year, the team you're helping out with, the Red Deer Midget AAAs, another first overall finish in the regular season, and it looks like this team's in good shape for another playoff run.
Oh, they really are. I mean, Doug Quinn and Rob Hamill have been the mainstay in this team, along with Al Pratt and Peter Freestad coaching staff. I've been fortunate to join them this year, kind of midstream, and this is their 3rd year in a row that they've won the overall league championship, and that's not easy to do back to back to back. But they've got a good commitment from the kids. Minor hockey in Red Deer has really done a great job of producing kids, and Central Alberta. Let's give a little kudos out to the Sylvans and Lacombs and the Innisfell and some of those other areas for getting the kids to be able to come in here and play Midget AAA. And it's been fun. You know what? Now the regular season is going to end. The team gets a bye in the first round, and they're going to wait some of the southern winners in the preliminary rounds. And there's going to be some good hockey to be played. Hopefully, we get a chance to go a long way again. And if that happens, that'd be great.
And one young guy who's looking forward to being a part of that is Caleb Denham. The Rebels traded for him earlier this season. Yeah. He's been fighting through some injury trouble, but it sounds like he'll be ready for playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Caleb got dinged up a little bit in the Max tournament, which is a real endurance test down there. He was able to come back, got kind of nicked up again, not nearly as bad. You know what, if we were playing a playoff game here this weekend, today, he'd play. The fact is we're not going to play for a couple weeks. He's going to get a really chance to get that upper body injury 100%, and by doing so, you know what, this team is 6 defensemen and has 4 lines, and Doug Quinn and Rob Hamill roll these guys on a consistent basis. We need everybody, and Caleb Dem's a big part of this team, and you know what, I dare say he's going to have a good future with the Red Deer Rebels as well.
And appropriate that, Mike, we're sitting in the Red Deer Arena, because coming up on Saturday, even though you never did play for the Red Deer Rustlers, you know quite a few guys who did, including your brother, and we're going to have a lot of fun celebrating those Rustlers at the Centrium.
Oh, it's not going to be fun. Rustler Heritage Night. I'm really excited. There's a real good feel-good about the fact that the Rustlers are, that was the junior team through Central Alberta, and then, growing up as a kid, that's the team I watched, and I know there's lots of let's say some pretty good citizens that settle down in Red Deer and Central Alberta that play junior hockey for the Red Deer Rustlers. They're going to have I think a good mix of some of the alumni. They're going to be able to come to the game, and they're going to wear that replica jersey of the 79-80 team that won the Centennial Cup. I think that's just fantastic. And again, I'm a big supporter of junior hockey, and I'm a big supporter of the Red Deer Rustlers Heritage Program that night. And I just hope that anybody who is involved and gets a chance to come to the game that night, I think it's going to bring back some memories.
Should be a ton of fun for sure, and for a great cause, Canadian Cancer Society, by the way. Mike, thanks for doing this. We'll do it again.
Welcome. Yeah, sounds good. Take care.
Mike Moeller joining us here on Southside Dodge Rebels this week. Time to check in with another installment of Train Like a Rebel. Here's Jack at 360 Fitness.
Hi everyone, Jack here from 360 Fitness Personal Training. This week we're chatting about 2 important lower body exercises. First and foremost, the squat. Second, the leg press. So Brooke's already set up for the squat. So what you're doing when you're squatting is a few really, really important basics that you have to keep neutral. So you're going to keep your eyes up, your chin up, your chest up. You're going to put the weight into your heels, and you're going to sit all the way down to about 90 degrees. You're going to slowly lower down and explode through the bottom of your feet as you come up. Another great lower body exercise is the leg press. So you have to think of the leg press as almost like an upside down or an inverted squat. So it's working all the same muscle groups, you just have to focus it a little bit different. So what Brooke's doing is she's putting her feet up as if this was the floor. So again, just outside the shoulders, driving with her heels, coming down to about 90 degrees and driving all the way up. Nice and slow on the way down, and big explosive force on the way back up.
Coming up after the break, we go around the Western Hockey League, set you up for Rustler Heritage Night, and update you on the Rebels blood drive. Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is presented by Southside Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Red Deer, Alberta. Welcome back to the show. Time for another installment of the Skill Zone, and for that, we check in with Jim from Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake.
Hey, it's Jim from Complete Athlete. This week on the Skill Zone, we're going to work on quick stops, If you don't stop very well, the synthetic ice is a great place to learn. Stopping is a skill that players just do and is very difficult to teach. In the 2-foot hockey stop, when you break down the technical aspect of stopping, the 2 slot is the portion of the blade that puts pressure on the ice to initiate the stop. Knee bend and balance are 2 other very valuable components. Players should try to push the ice away from themselves as they turn their feet. More information on stopping or the synthetic ice can be found at completeathlete.ca.
Thanks, Jim. Great stuff as always. Time now for news and notes from around the Western Hockey League. The Western Hockey League and BMO are calling on all WHL fans to help support their favorite club with the 2013 BMO CHL Team Challenge. Fans can help their club win up to $10,000 toward their scholarship fund by signing up for BMO Affinity Team branded MasterCards. Sign up for your team branded card by visiting BMO.com. The CHL team with the most fans who sign up will win the $10,000 scholarship money. As we mentioned when Mike Moeller was here, this coming Saturday will be a very special night, a very fun night at the NMAX Centrium as the Rebels celebrate Rustler Heritage Night when they take on the Prince Albert Raiders. It'll also be in support of a great cause as funds raised will go to support the Central Alberta chapter of the Canadian Cancer Society. Now the Rebs will be wearing replica jerseys honoring the 1979-80 Centennial Cup Championship Rustlers team, of which Brent Sutter was a key player. After the game, those jerseys will be auctioned off to lucky fans, all of that money going to the Cancer Society.
Is our 3rd special jersey night we've done in the last 4 years. We went back in the archives with this one. The jersey is going to celebrate the 1980 Centennial Cup Red Deer Rustlers Junior A team. We'll have members from that team here that night, members from other past Rustler teams. The Regina Pats have been gracious enough to lend us some pan shells. We're going to have the whole Rustler look. And all the money, the night is presented by Finning. They're the sponsor. All the money raised from the jersey auction on the concourse will go towards the Canadian Cancer Association. It's something that junior hockey teams have been doing for the last couple of years. It's an alternate way to raise money for some charities. The last 2 years, or 3 of the last 4 years, we've done this event. And this year we just want to try something different. We've always done a different Rebels jersey. This one we want to do something totally different. So lest we land on the Rustlers, which has a huge heritage in Red Deer going back to the 60s. So this one, like I said, there'll be the sound auction on the concourse. Every player's jersey will be auctioned off. And those fans will be presented with their jerseys on the ice, signed by that player at the end of the game. And as I mentioned, all of the money raised will go towards the Canadian Cancer Association.
Sticking with the Rebels in the community, they are neck and neck with the Lethbridge Hurricanes in support of Canadian Blood Services. The Hockey It's in Our Blood Challenge is entering the final half. The Rebels had a healthy lead over the Hurricanes after week 1 when it came to raising blood donations, but at the halfway point, Lethbridge is up 93-91. You have until the end of the month to take part. Visit blood.ca or call 1-888-2-DONATE. Book your appointment to donate blood, and make sure you're registered to be part of this challenge. You can enter to win a Rebels team prize pack, including an autographed 3rd jersey. Well, that about does it for this week's show. Thanks once again to Mike Moeller for joining us here at the Red Deer Arena. Check us out online at rebelsthisweek.com. Hit us up on Twitter at RebelsThisWeek. We'll see you again next time.